Maximus Analysis here for March 24th, 2016, and we continue to see that they held that 2014-25 level that I posted on Twitter this morning. And again, we've had our levels for a while that we've been discussing using an aggressive type of time frame because of the nature of what's going on. This is the weekly for the ES, so we kind of just want to make sure we're not losing sight of the big picture, meaning that we know that the low of this week is 2012. I think they got down to 2012 in a little bit, and want to see them hold that. Again, tomorrow the markets are closed. I think the futures markets might be open, and I think they do have a GDP number coming in at 8:30, but I'm not going to be trading tomorrow because of the light volume and just spend some time with my family over the holiday period. So we want to see them continue above that. Against the 1978, 1965 level would be something, and if they have a retracement, we again don't want to see them get close below those on a weekly time frame, those levels. Now this is the ES on the weekly. Again, looking at the daily time frame, they're holding this 200-day moving average for now. Break above this 1948 level that we had as some resistance that came about 2 ticks from. They break above that with some type of strength. Again, we're looking at quickly the 1960 level, excuse me, the 2060 level that would basically be in the middle of the chop. And we saw that look at all the videos from 2015, you see there was a big fight between 2080 and 2060, so we'll just continue to watch that right now. Looking at the NQ, we could see that they've held above these previous highs. So right now it's looking pretty good, seeing that if they can break above these levels with some type of volume, they can come back and test this 4,500 level. But again, we want to make sure NQ weekly that we're looking to say, okay, we have a small doji. We see that we have this declining volume here, right? So we have the declining volume there on and we would have a lower high. So they haven't even gotten up to this high yet. Excuse me, these previous lows. So we still want to look at it. And again, this would be, I don't know if some people would look at this as a head and shoulders pattern. I think it would probably be up here a little bit more if it became something like that. But just be aware that the volume is declining. So a lot of things did push up. A couple names did push up, mainly Amazon and Tesla actually reversed pretty well. But we want to make sure we're looking at all time frames. Even if you're looking at intraday, because again, you could be on an hourly, 2 hour. You just want to make sure you're not getting beasted on the wrong side of things because you're not using a smaller time frame to mitigate risk. The YM, we want to stay above the 17,000, 1720, 250 area, and I think we should be fine. And again, what now was resistance is now support. So that's the reason why we got these numbers that we have right here for the YM. The CL, again, we want them to hold because now they're back into the congestion area. So we're really going to see who's going to win because, again, they didn't really break a pivot back. Actually, it's just we just would rather them layer into this area, excuse me, above these highs versus pull right back into the middle of this congestion area that we had such sideways movements. So again, we want the no close and break below 37.50. Okay, so again, they could tap all they want. We don't want them to close it. This is what we're seeing for crude on the weekly time frame. So you just want to be aware of that. So I don't think we've had really any break of any previous week's low. So if they get to that point, I think we barely did that. But if they close below it, that's when we're going to really see who's going to win this battle. Again, we know we're bucking up against previous resistance that is hit, and this is the second time, so let's see what they do at that level. Now let's look at some equity names. First one we're definitely going to look at is Amazon, being that was up 13 bucks and still continued and actually now has some increasing volume. So there was a level that I posted or said on the next video, be aware of 588.56. Again, if you're long already, it would just be something that you would probably tighten your stops up a little bit or be peeling off a little bit. But I think that, again, the weekly for Amazon looks really good if they can continue and not break back below this 535 area. you can see that they have a nice little pullback, and now you have almost an engulfing type of candlestick, and you just want to see them get above here and either get a short squeeze for volume. You just want to see some increasing type of volume from this last week. So Amazon is looking good because you are getting an increase in volume on the daily time frame. Tesla Tesla gapped down and then reversed back. So this was candlestick, guys. This would be what you would consider a piercing pattern, meaning that they gapped down and almost got 50%, or probably even did get 50% of the previous candle. So really, they have to hold these lows next week. I mean, we really have to see them hold this 215, and again, 203. Probably 203.5 is where we would start getting a concern number that where the hell are they going. But let's look at the weekly time frame for Tesla, and you can again see we wanted them to hold these lows, because then they would not get back below this trend line again. So we still have lower highs, but it's kind of really had a 5% move down, and then a similar type of move, even though it won't be 5% up due to the gap down, but just something that you want to be watching. Google still, as weird as it sounds, still having some this 756 area that we discussed is still a factor. Very sloppy type of pattern, but we want to see them hold this level of the 743 on any type of pullback, and then of course if they break above, they will try to go for these highs. But again, you can look on the weekly time frame for Google, and you can kind of see that there is a big shift in volume right now. So you can see that this volume is decreasing. So we'll see. And again, we've been talking about the 756 area for a while, and they got a little bit above it yesterday, but still continue to the downside with a gap down. But again, this is just a really sloppy pattern. So I rather, when the patterns get really sloppy, go to a higher time frame to kind of get some perspective. Google, last but not least, Apple, excuse me. Apple, we want to see them hold this 103.13 area. Okay. They're looking, they're testing this previous high level, which is around, testing this area right here, these previous highs, and we'll kind of see how this one works out, because not really sure because of how it's just been really sideways for the past week. So again, when we start getting some type of indecision on the daily, we go to a weekly time frame, and you can see that they're not even up, near these highs. And this would be if they break last week's low, this would be a clear indication that they still have some upward battle. Volume is kind of anemic both ways, so we don't want them to break this week's low and then increase the volume and then go for this 200-day moving average, which would bring it around 92. So it's more critical on the weekly time frame where they go, and if they do break a last week's low or next week's low, and currently we have the low around 104, 105. We want to see how they look, and again, a critical above level is the 105.68, which we're basically at right now. So let's see where they're going to go in regard to Apple, because the volume is kind of dying down. So again, they need to hold these highs and then to continue to basically go to this 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. So time frame is everything regarding this. So again, we see that we had some strength some places, but we want to make sure that these weekly, we're not discounting looking at these weekly time frames. So let's continue to see what happens and go from there. Take care.